All right. Hey, everybody. It is December 8th, 2023. It is Friday. And as usual, we are live. So I am live today with a very, very special guest. I've never met Monte before, but what happened is, just to give you a little bit of the backstory here, and Monte, you correct me if I'm wrong, but we were having a webinar called How to Survive and Thrive During the Holidays. And towards the end of the webinar, we were taking questions, a little Q&A, and there was a lot going on in the chat room. And all of a sudden, somebody said that, they're down over 100 pounds by following this lifestyle. And it was Monte, correct, Monte?
That's correct. Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so obviously, when you get somebody that's had that kind of success, it's always nice to reach out to them. So we reached out to Monte, and he's agreed to share with us the full Monte today, like to bear it all. And
Yes.
and we are so absolutely thankful for that, because I know that this is going to be so informative and helpful for so many other people that are out there saying, oh, I could never do this. This is too difficult. Just like belly buttons, everybody has their excuse that they think has hung the moon. And Monte, I cannot wait for people to hear your story, because I honestly think that if you can do this, anybody can do this. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yes. Anybody
Yeah.
can.
Hey, so where are you right now? Where am I talking to you from?
Okay. I'm currently in Wichita, Kansas. That's our home base. Um, so I was over the road truck driver, and I managed to get. I got home yesterday, so
Mm.
yesterday evening, and then I'll be home here today, Friday and Saturday, and then I'm pulling out Sunday morning, heading for New Jersey. So
Wow. So does that
yeah.
mean, is that an 18 wheeler that you have,
Yes,
or is it
sir.
like
Yes.
yeah? Okay.
Yep.
And do you enjoy that work?
I do. Yes. Yes, I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Okay. And I want to get into kind of your background and in your work. And if I'm not mistaken, you've been doing the trucking now for a little over 5 years. Is that right?
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. So let's go back a little bit here. So where did you grow up?
So about 30 miles southwest of here, I grew up in a small town called Conway Springs, Kansas. Um, Agriculture community, farming community, tight knit. And that's where my roots are, in Conway Springs.
Got it.
So,
And if I'm not mistaken, you have said that where you grew up, and maybe even the family that you grew up in, was kind of redneck to the bone.
oh, Lord have mercy. Yep. We, and being raised on a farm, um, yeah, all I knew was beef.
Yeah.
That's what we ate, and yeah, we were redneck to the bone. I mean, yeah, I have memories of slaughtering the cows out in the shed and hanging them up in the winter and letting them bleed out, and then the next day you'd process everything. So yeah, that was just the way of life.
Yeah.
So
So tell me, outside of eating beef or meat, 3 meals a day, what in your opinion, what does it mean to be like redneck to the bone besides eating that way? Can
um,
you,
I guess just good old country boys.
yeah.
Um, um, yeah, just good old country boys. Go to church every Sunday, and of course you party Saturday night, then you go to church Sunday morning to be forgiven for your sins,
Yeah.
and of course then it depends on what time of the year it is. Every Friday night during football season, you go to that game, and then basketball season rolls along, and it's a small community, and you go to the gymnasium, and everybody knows everybody, and it's a social event. And there was there was always a little bit of alcohol around, and that was part of the scene. So
Yeah. Yeah. And were you, uh, did you grow up in a big family? How many brothers and sisters did you have?
well, no, unfortunately, I'm well, I say I'm an only child. I have a sister, but there was a 12-year gap between us. So um, yeah, so just my sister.
Got it. Got it. And so growing up, who did most of the cooking in your home? Was it your mother?
It it definitely was. It was the so well, I'm 61. Okay, so as I'm growing up, this is way back when, and dad's the one that went out and worked, and mom was the I guess the home wife. That was
Yeah.
her position. So she did the cooking, the meals, the cleaning, and yeah, he went to work every day. So
Right. And did you you went to high school? Did you go to college after high school, or did you go straight into work?
yeah, this the school of hard knocks. So I just went straight into work. Yeah, it
Right.
was. I guess it was just kind of expected. College wasn't even brought up. So um, my father and his brother they owned their own business. It was a construction business where they owned heavy equipment, and so we would do earth moving jobs. And so I mean, I started going to work for them in the summer when I was probably 12 years old. So my summer was never really spent at the pool. I was expected to go to work and help dad, right?
Right.
So
And so, right. And so after graduating from high school, you went to work kind of in the family business. And did you continue doing that up until how long?
I did that for about 10 years. Um, and then um, some yeah, family's great. It is, but sometimes you can have different opinions about things, and sometimes there can be a little friction. So it was time for me to move on. So I left after about 10 years.
Right, right. But and then you went back, or I should say you continued to stay in the field of construction.
Yeah, I did. Um, I started getting into housing, and got some education on that, and ended up getting my contractor's license, and then became like a new home superintendent, and so kind of went down that route, and then that took me on to being a job site superintendent later in life. So yeah, I stayed with the construction.
Right, right. And when did you meet and meet your wife to be, Mary Ann?
Well, um, we went to high school together. Uh, she she's a transplant. She came from that darned old place north of us, Nebraska, and I know it. She's a corn husker, and but so she moved down. Her dad built elevators, grain elevators. So they hopped around quite a bit um, during her upbringing. But she ended up landing in Conway Springs when she was a sophomore in high school, and so we kind of knew each other, and always good friends, but not a whole lot there. But then after graduation, um, we started kind of hanging around, and one thing led to another, and
Yeah.
here we are 41 years later, married. So
And she's what field of business is she in?
she is a registered nurse,
Uh-huh. Got it.
and yeah, she's very passionate about what she does. She she was the director of nursing. She was in management for about 20 years, um, and and that's when you're in management like that, especially in the medical field, even when you're at home, you're not off work. You're always
Mm.
the phone always rings. Um, so like I said, she did that for 20 years. And then here recently, she just decided to, hey, I'm just going to go back and work the floor and take care of people. And she's been very, very happy with that. So now she can come home. And when she's at home, she's at home.
And you had what, 6 children? Is that correct?
Yes, we have 6 children, 5 boys and 1 daughter.
Wow.
Yeah.
I bet you that was a lot of excitement in your household growing up. Incredible.
Oh boy. Oh yeah. Yes.
Do you miss it? Do you miss all the excitement?
There was never a dull moment, and man, it keeps you on your toes. It was almost a double family. We had the 2 older boys, and then for some reason these last 4 came along, and they're all within. There's 4 of them. They're within 6 years. So they, and then the last 2, Justin and Matthew, are just I get what, Irish twins. They're just a year apart. So
yeah,
or 11 months. Yeah. So yes, always a lot going on.
Okay. Well, hey, let's jump into kind of the kale and potatoes of why we're talking here today, and that is your health and what you've been able to do to basically turn around your health. That was kind of borderline in the gutter not too long ago.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. Yeah.
Fair to say.
Yes.
So
yes.
So could you give us an idea of what your health looked like a year ago, or even maybe 10 months ago?
Well, just eating the standard American diet, and maybe trying to keep it a little bit on the healthier side, but still just eating the standard American diet. And I'm on, at this time, I'm on 3 different blood pressure medications. I am on an acid reducer. I am on a diuretic. Way too much medication. And probably in February of this year, I'm feeling sluggish. I just don't feel good. So I thought, well, okay, let's go to the doctor and find out, see what's up. So I go there. This is in probably March. I get in, and okay, so they start out with the typical deal. They draw my blood and do the lipid panel, and nothing really jumped out. Nothing was really crazy. Total cholesterol was 183.
And I would imagine, tell me, in Monte, is that 183? Is that with a statin drug? No,
okay. That was just my cholesterol. So I said, well, so we went on, and she said, well, let's wear a heart monitor. So I wore a heart monitor for 30 days, which was inconvenient, but I did it. And, they send all the results in and come back and everything's great. It's not seeing anything. Okay. She said, we've got one more thing that we can do though. And that would be the calcium test, CT scan, right? So, okay. She said, it's non-invasive, lay on the table. It took them longer to put on the electrodes than it did to actually do the test. So, yeah. Okay. So we get that. It probably takes a week or so to get the results. And this started my WTF moment, because I get the results and it's 966, and I'm like, okay, but I'm ignorant to this process. Those numbers, I don't know what those numbers mean, right? 966 might be good. I didn't know. Of course, Google search and this and that, and she didn't have a whole lot to say about it. Just that I'm going to get you with a cardiologist. Well, okay, so that tells me that 966 is probably not a good number. Then after I researched it, it's like, okay, yeah, but when you're born, your number's probably 0.
Right.
All right. So I'm not doing good. Like, okay. But by the time I get this information though, and I don't know why, well, I know why I did this, because I had to backtrack here a little bit, because from 2018 to 2019, I made a commitment that I was going to go vegetarian for 1 year. I'm going to do this, and I did. But when I did that change, I was eating I guess I'll just call it the fake meat. So I was having all that processed food, but I was eating vegetarian, and I stuck with it for a year. And of
Now,
course,
let me just interrupt here. When you
yeah,
say vegetarian, does that also mean that you were doing dairy products? Because a lot of times vegetarian is you're not doing meat, but you're doing dairy. So
right.
when you
No,
say
no,
yeah,
I was not doing dairy.
okay.
Um,
So you were kind of like, so you're kind of a junk food vegan.
yeah, I guess I would make um, I would make chili, and
Yeah,
the only thing that would be in it, they would you could buy these plant based sausages that I would cut up and put in there.
you got it. Yep, yep,
So
yep.
that's the kind of food I was having. So a lot of that processed meat or fake meat, and I didn't. I should have been, reading the label more at the time, but that stuff's got a lot of saturated fat.
Oh yeah,
It,
yeah.
it may not have any cholesterol, but the other numbers were up there. So
Well, and one of the things that really drives up cholesterol, Monte, and everybody listening, is saturated fat, right? It's not just cholesterol; it's also animal protein. So, yeah, something to keep in mind.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
Um, so at doing all this surfing, I run across um, these two ladies on the internet, and they're cooking these meals, and one of them's kind of tall and the other one's kind of short, and they're doing this and that. And I'm thinking, well, who are
What,
these crazy
now, wait,
ladies?
was this year? Was this in February of this year, or when was this?
Yeah. This would have been. We're probably into April, but April now this year.
Okay, okay. So just
Yeah.
so I
No,
can
no, no, no. I'm
get
sorry. No, no. This is
yeah.
way back. This is 2018, 2019. So
Oh,
2018.
oh, got it,
Yeah,
got it. Okay,
yeah.
okay.
So I do. But I guess this even though I didn't go with it, this is what planted the seed in my head, because I ran across these ladies who end up being your sister and your mom, and I'm seeing these recipes, and I'm thinking, I'm not ready for this yet. This looks crazy. I can't eat this stuff.
Yeah,
I can't
yeah.
I can't do this. But it's in my memory bank, and so I discard it and I move on, and I continue my year out on my fake meat vegetarian diet. And then I finally break it, and I'm like, this isn't working. So I go back to the standard American diet. Okay, so that's kind of the backstory on that. So now I guess if we want to jump forward to April,
Yeah.
um, so I get the scan that says
Yeah.
my calcium
Nine,
is 966, and then for some reason I'm thinking back, and I remember these ladies, and then I start surfing the web, and then I run across you, and I run across your dad, and I've read it and read it and read it and read it,
right.
and so I started out in April of this year, kind of slowly. Um, I'm a truck driver, so I was getting a lot of prepackaged meals that I thought were okay. There was a lot of you can get a lot of Indian cuisine, a lot of curry. It has rice and then a curry on the side. You mix them together, but it had oil in it, and I was doing a lot of that. It did have a lot of oil, but then after reading the book, and then after getting my news, and then I can hear Dr. Essie, never again should a
Yeah.
drop of oil touch my lips. And I think, okay, so now you've got to change. You've got to change. So now I don't want to plug another product here, but I toyed around with the leaf side meals for a while, which
Yep.
are good, but um, after going into the cardiologist and doing the treadmill and then getting the results, and he looks at me face to face and he says, "You have coronary artery disease." Told me 3 times. Okay, wow. So there's my moment. What are you going to do? I'm talking to myself. What are you going to do? I have coronary artery disease. Never in my life did I think someone was going to tell me that. I know I'm taking 3 blood pressure meds and a diuretic and an antacid, but I can't have coronary artery disease. I just can't. Well, you do. So I got to cut out the oil. I got to cut everything out. It was an awakening.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
And so this cardiologist tells you you've got cardiovascular disease, heart disease, effectively. And does he tell you what to do about it? Does he like give you any solutions?
So by the time I get to him, it's a slow process when you're dealing with these specialists. So it is, let's see, we were at April, and by this time I'm reading the book. I am changing. It wasn't overnight for me. It took a little bit of time, but I transitioned into, I guess, whole food, plant-based, just plants. And so now we're probably, I think my first appointment with him was in July. That's when I went in. I did the nuclear stress test, which, and I had lost, the weight had already started to fall off at this point. And I mean falling off.
So we know what you're talking about. What did you weigh and how much weight have you lost?
Okay. So yeah, when this process started and when I said I just didn't feel good, I'm knocking on the door of 290. I'm right there. Yeah, depends on what time of the day I would weigh. And you're 290. God damn. Woo. So at this point, I go in, I do the treadmill. I'm probably down to 250. I mean, this, I don't know if this will sound stupid. It's not like, I mean, I know I need to lose weight, but I wasn't really trying to. It was just what I was eating.
Yeah.
It was just falling off. And
so, so a byproduct of you eating this way was you just were naturally just losing weight. Yeah.
And Rip, I didn't starve. I still don't starve. I eat.
Right.
Damn it. Now, damn, I eat.
Well, I want to talk about what you eat, but keep going with your story. So yeah.
So we do the treadmill, and then okay. Just a quick little thing about that. Boy, is that an eye opener, because you go in there, you have your appointment, and you go back into the prep room, and they prep you, and then they send you to the waiting room, and I'm in there with 10 other guys that look just like me. I'm thinking, okay.
Oh my God.
And you get to talking, and we're all here for the same thing, and we're on the left side of the building, and then on the right side of the building there's another waiting room for all the women.
Right.
So, and then I go through, I get my treadmill thing done, and I walk by, and there's 10 more contestants signed up, different people, to go in and get the same thing done. I mean, it's a revolving door.
Yeah.
At this cardiologist. I mean, and I don't want to, I'm not dissing them. I mean, probably what they do is great, but so we finally we have a meeting, and food never came up. He never brought up what I need to do to correct this. He wanted me to start a statin. Well, by now I've done some research. God knows I'm not a doctor, but I'm thinking, okay, I'm eating the way that I'm supposed to. So and I don't know, I think the world of your father. I don't know him. I just read his books. I don't know. He may have been like Monty. You probably should take the damn thing, but I didn't. It's like, I've got a medicine bag right here beside me. I'm not adding another regimen of pills. I'm not going to do it. So I made the decision on my own to not take it, and
Yeah.
whether I should have or not. And anyway, they went ahead and called it in. I've got 5 bottles sitting up here in the pantry. I'm not going to take them. So, and I brought up about what I was eating towards the end of our conversation. I brought up what I'm doing. I said, well, I have changed. I said, I'm not doing the standard American diet anymore. I said, I'm eating a whole food, plant-based diet.
Yeah. And how do you react?
Well, he really didn't even acknowledge me. I don't know. Maybe he hears this stuff every day and no one sticks with it. And I said, I'm going to get my lab work checked again. And this is what blew me away. He said, I don't care if you come in here with perfect numbers. You need to take the statin.
Okay. Yep.
I said, okay, all right. I just agreed. I'm okay. That's all right. Knowing full well I'm not going to take the statin. So we continue on. He looks over all, and it takes time, right? So he looks over all the results, and then I get this subtle letter in the mail that says, at my earliest convenience, I need to schedule an appointment to come in for a heart catheterization.
Okay. And do you know what a heart catheterization is?
Well, I believe that I do. They make an incision in an artery, whether, I don't know, your wrist or maybe the groin or somewhere, and they insert a line maybe with a camera, and they can go in and check the arteries of the heart. Is that correct?
I believe it is. But you decided you didn't want to have this procedure done, right?
Well, because everybody, everyone has their story. Everybody's been touched by something in their life. And so what did it for me was my grandfather had a heart catheterization. Now, and it's been years ago, 1988. I'm sure technology is better, but he had it done. They didn't find anything abnormal, nothing massive. Just he was 64 at his age. It was, I guess, at that time what they would consider, normal buildup, and we'll send you home. And 2 days later, he's dead.
Oh boy!
Yeah. So they had something had dislodged or knocked off. So that this is in the back of my head, right? Because I'm thinking, because I'm losing weight by now. I'm eating whole food, plant based. I'm jogging. I'm feeling really good. I'm like,
wow.
I'm not going to.
Wow. So you're losing weight. You're feeling better. You're actually moving now. So you're not only walking, you're jogging.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And how long had it been since you decided to jog? Had you not jogged for years?
Well, when you're carrying a lot of weight, that puts a little bit of an impact on your knees. So even though I was heavy, I would still go to the Y and hop on the treadmill. Excuse me.
Yeah.
At 280, 285, I would still get on the treadmill. So I know my truck driving is sedentary, but I would try and keep, because not only it makes, not only physically, but it helps me mentally. The exertion, the exercise.
Absolutely.
I think it keeps me focused. So I need that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Monte, let me ask you this. So you sent me your before and after numbers. Do you mind if I share these with everybody?
No, go ahead. No, I had them wrote down here in case. Yeah, I went.
Okay, so yeah, you tell me if I got anything wrong. But your weight, so you were bumping up against 290. You're now about 190. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Yep. Your cholesterol, your total cholesterol. This is without any kind of statins. Before it was 183, which actually is not bad. And then, but now today, the last checkup, it was 123. Right. Something that my father would be very happy to see. Your LDL, which is the lethal cholesterol, went from 118 to 61. We love it when we can get that LDL below 70. 61 is phenomenal. And then your triglycerides have fallen from 82 to 61. And that's just a function of how much fat is in your blood. And then your meds, you said that the 3 blood pressure meds that you were on have been cut in half. You're off the diuretic. And are you still taking the one for the acid reflux or no?
Well, hell no. I mean,
Okay.
once you start eating all that food, you don't need that. You don't have this problem. It goes away.
Right. And now has the same cardiologist that wanted you to be on statins and wanted you to do the heart catheterization and everything, has he seen you like in your latest and greatest form?
Yes.
And what does he say?
Because that was shortly after, well, I think when I went back in, because I kept putting off the catheter thing, and I was like, okay, I need to address this issue. I just need to go in and visit with him, and let's put this to bed. So I went in. We had to talk about that. I said, I'm not going to get this done.
Yeah.
Here are my new lab numbers. I remember what you told me. You didn't care if it was perfect. And so he's writing everything down. He's like, that's really good. He said, are you taking the statin? I said, no. I said, this is, I hate to call it diet. It's my lifestyle change. It's what I'm doing.
Well, and did you tell him that you were following the protocol in Dr. Esselstyn's book from the Cleveland Clinic?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And that is when he decided to tell me that he said, all of us are going to die of either a stroke or a heart attack at some point in our life.
Oh my gosh.
It's like, okay, whatever. And maybe, but I don't want it to be at 62. If it happens at 92, well, then I'll take that. But, I want to get there in good shape.
That is so infuriating to me, Monty, when I hear that. And one of the reasons is, my father, when he was at the Cleveland Clinic, and he started his research in 1984, and he asked the cardiology department to send him the worst possible patients that were so bad off that they'd been turned down for another bypass, stent, angioplasty, any kind of procedure because they were so far gone. They had what's called end-stage heart disease, which means basically they were given about a year to live if they were lucky. So he took these bottom of the barrel heart disease patients, and guess what? They lived another 5, 10, 15, most of them 20 years, and not one of them died from a heart attack or a stroke. So, I hate to say it, but that's information that your cardiologist really needs. And to me, he's almost practicing malpractice by not being up to speed and up to date with all the latest and greatest research and data that's out there on Dean Ornish and my father and some other really groundbreaking pioneering physicians.
Well, I had to bite my tongue to not use the quote. I believe it's from Dr. Kim Williams.
That's exactly right. Yes. Say it. Yeah.
There's 2 types of cardiologists, those that are vegan and those who haven't read the research.
That's right. That's right.
I'm sure it wouldn't have made him happy, but it was irritating.
Oh my God. But for the most part, he's on board with you doing this. He knows you're not taking the statin drugs now as well, right?
So by the time the visit, the office visit ended, yes, I went over all, and yes, he's fine with me not taking the statin. He's okay with me not getting the heart catheterization, which I'm like, well, did I really need it, or is it? I shouldn't even say it. Is it just because?
Sure.
There's
a little bit of a conflict of interest there. Sure. Yeah.
So, and to anybody listening, and I don't recommend this to anybody because my blood pressure meds, I bought me this nice little $high digital thing and I monitor it regularly, but I lowered the medication on my own because I wasn't really getting total support. So, like I said, probably
what I would recommend that you do, it sounds like you're not getting the partnership that I think you so richly deserve with your cardiologist. And so I would recommend that you go and find one of these wonderful plant-based telehealth lifestyle medicine people that can absolutely hold your hand and be a partner with you doing all the great stuff you're doing.
So I've um
And if you want, and if you want, when we're offline, I can help you
okay,
find somebody wonderful. Yeah.
let's go that route.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. So tell me this, your wife is as you said earlier, she's an RN. What does she think of this newfound lifestyle, and is she on board?
Well, she's impressed.
Okay. Yeah.
Obviously I'm there's 100 pounds less than me. I mean, I look great. She thinks I look great. So she
Hey,
is.
Carrie, let's show a little before and after of the full Monty there.
There you go. It's just
So
a half Monty now.
that's right. So the left is Monte. When was that? Like a year or so ago?
Yes, that was a year ago in December. That was yes.
And so this weight, so you've lost 100
Exactly.
pounds. So you've lost 100 pounds effectively in less than a year.
In less than a year. Yeah, because I am that current picture of me, I'm probably 20 pounds lighter than I am in that picture.
Wow. Wow.
I was probably 210 in that, 215.
Yeah.
So I'm 190 now.
How tall are you?
5'10".
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
So
So you must.
I'm
Yeah.
shooting. Yeah, I'm shooting for 170.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
Now it's starting to slow down.
yeah.
The weight loss.
What were you? Can you remember how much you weighed out of high school? Yeah.
195.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you said you were always a little bit heavy growing up too. So to me, 5'10", 170 sounds pretty good. That sounds like a healthy goal. So let's go back to your wife. So she's impressed, but is she also eating this way?
She's not 100% on board, Rip. She's not 100%, but I will say, she probably hasn't had. She definitely hasn't had any chicken or beef for 2 months. She'll do fish every now and then. There's no dairy. I don't have any dairy contraband in the house. Now she is kind of on the maybe the route that I was doing. So she's eating a lot of like Amy's, these plant-based meals.
Sure.
But then, like you said, I mean, they don't have cholesterol in them, but the saturated fat is elevated.
Yeah.
And I've told her that. But hey, since I'm off, I made out of the Prevent and Reverse Heart Disease book, I made the tortilla pie.
Oh yeah.
And then I kind of put my spin on it. I put a bunch of other stuff in it, and then I took her some of that, and that's what she's eating for lunch. So,
what a fantastic husband you are.
Oh well,
she,
she puts in, she's a nurse. She puts in 12-hour days,
wow.
which always turn into 13, and so. Yeah,
so have you connected with Trucker Steve, who we've had on our Facebook Friday Lives?
No, I've watched the
okay
podcast a couple of times, but no, I haven't connected with him yet. No.
Wow. Well, you guys obviously have a lot in common. Can you walk me through what a typical day as a trucker looks like you, as far as what are you eating for breakfast, lunch, and dinner? I think everybody would love to know how you do it. And for anybody else that's out there, feel free to throw some questions in there for Monty, because I think it's just incredible what he's been able to do. And I know you guys has some questions for him.
So I love oats. I can eat oats every morning. I ate it when I was fat. So, but I would just put butter and milk on them. I don't do that anymore. So I am kind of I love overnight oats, and it really
Mm,
works good with my trucking. So I have my little concoction. I put in a half a cup of oats. Um, uh, I'll run all this by real quick. You can give me your thumbs up or down, but I'll put in 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. I put in a couple tablespoons of wheat germ, a couple tablespoons of um, flaxseed meal, a little bit of turmeric, a little bit of ginger. I love ginger, and sometimes put in some cinnamon, and then almond milk. And by the time that all swells up, I have a 2 cup container, and it almost fills it to the top. And I'll put in a little bit of beet powder, and top that off with some frozen blueberries or strawberries. And dude, that takes me at least to noon. I
yeah.
love it. I just love
So
it.
yeah, so that almost sounds like a combination of savory and sweet, like with the nutritional yeast and the
Hmm.
the ginger and what else did you say in there? Yeah,
Turmeric
the turmeric and stuff like
and
that.
turmeric.
Yeah, but you're really, I mean, that's impressive what you're throwing in there. I mean, that all sounds really, really health promoting. And the wheat
Oh,
germ, you said the wheat germ and
the ground flaxseed.
the ground flaxseed meal. Yeah, that's a winner, Monty. Way to go!
Awesome.
Wow.
Sometimes maybe a little bit of cinnamon. Cinnamon.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I have weird taste buds. I've put garlic in before. A little bit of garlic powder. I just experiment, and you know,
Yeah.
because I have my base, but then I can change it with a little bit of seasoning, make it a little bit different every day.
And so
Um,
you make that big container, and then are you eating that kind of while you're driving the truck? Is that something that you can do? Or
um, let's see. In To keep it safe, no.
got it. Got it. Got it.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty easy to do.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll get everything in there and mixed around, and then yeah, I can shovel it in
Right,
and
right.
tootle down the road. So yeah,
Got
yeah, that's my breakfast. Now, of course, then the other part of my trucking day is, having trying to live by Dr. Essie's book. Um, I have a hard time sometimes getting in 6 servings of greens.
yeah.
I'm typically 4 to 5, but I will. Um, I have my snack baggies that are meal prepped, and they'll vary from Brussels sprouts or asparagus or spinach or whatever. But I'll have those, and I'll grab those, and I'll have 4 or 5 of those spaced out between the day. Um,
Wow.
and
Great.
and then my lunch. Yeah, I've got my tortilla pie just sitting right over there. I've got a 9 by 13 pan, and I'll cut that up, and I'll take 4 or 5 of those, put them in different containers. I'll take 4 or 5 of those with me, and that'll be lunch to midday somewhere. Whenever I get hungry, um, and those are my 2 meals. And then the 4 or 5 snack
Right.
baggies of veggies, and I'm good for the day.
And so that's it. So you're not necessarily doing a dinner. Is that right?
Yeah,
You don't
no,
need?
no,
Yeah.
no.
Got it.
I'm satisfied. I'm satiated. I don't need it.
Right. Right. Well, and I would imagine too that one of the things that has happened by you eating these really clean foods, your palate has probably become much more sophisticated and mature, and so you're not necessarily craving just gobs and gobs and gobs of food that is almost just like this addictive, compulsive, not knowing when to stop, just kind of on and on and on,
Yeah.
like type of toxic food poison. So it sounds like you've broken the pleasure trap. I mean, that's huge.
My taste buds are so different.
Yeah.
I love it. The vegetables and the fruit. Oh, why do you need sugar? I just don't need sugar anymore. I eat fruit, and it's like, yeah, man,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
is awesome. Mango, I love mango. Oh,
I know. So what are your go-to fruits that you like to snack on or put on your oatmeal?
And something that, and this comes from you, because prior to this, I was buying fresh and I was cutting it up and I was prepping
Yep.
it, and it was like, man, this takes time. Well, Rip says you do frozen, so I tried it. It's a game changer, brother. So
Yeah.
I just buy frozen fruit, and yeah, mango chunks, or strawberries, blueberries. I love blackberries, but those little tiny seeds in there, man, they get in my teeth, and so I
Yeah.
kind of had to forego that. Um,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah, it's fabulous.
Hey, so there's a question that I just threw up on the screen from Fun with Fungi. Obviously, she or he must be a huge mushroom fan. But do you ever bring up your food with other truckers? How do you talk to others about the topic, and do you avoid talking about it?
Well, okay, here's the thing. A quick tutorial. You're in your semi. You're allowed to drive for 11 hours a day. Your total work duty is 14 hours a day. Um, so I don't really have a whole lot of trucker friends. I
Yeah.
mean, I have some guys at my terminal, but they're all, they eat the standard American diet. They don't want to hear about what I'm doing. Yeah, you've lost weight. You look great. Yeah. So, a lot of truckers are not, you know, they're not real chummy. So no, it's not that I ignore it or blow it off, but it's just, it would fall on deaf ears. So, um, and I consider myself still new at this. So I am, I still have, maybe I got my blinders on. This is all about me right now. I'm taking care of, I'm doing me. And,
as it, as it should be, as it
so
should be. Yeah, you do you, and then all that wonderfulness, that glow, and that positivity will flow out, and then that's when people say, "Hey, Monty, what are you doing? I want some of what you have." That's
yeah.
the best way, as opposed for you to be trying to preach it and promote it that way, just by being a great example. Um, Hey, there's a question from Cindy. She wants to know if you've got any interest in having another calcium scan.
Well, from, I think maybe from some of your father's literature and some other stuff. I mean, I can go in. I don't, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think the calcium, it's not going to go away. I
No,
think the score will
no.
be the same. It might be worse. I don't know.
Well. So yeah, if you do decide to have another one, let me know, because I'd love to hook you up with my father so you can have a little phone conversation with him. Because a lot of times what happens is when you hit the whole food plant based really really hard, a lot of the very susceptible um, juvenile plaque formations, some that a lot of times are the ones that are the causation of almost 92% of heart attacks. Those actually will firm up and calcify, and that actually is not a bad thing. So your calcium score may actually go up a little bit, but as my father says, that in this circumstance is actually a good thing. So there's some nuances to that.
Question. I take a low dose aspirin, 81 milligrams a day. Now I've heard good and bad. You want to elaborate on that, or would you rather not?
No, that's not for me, but I'm happy
Okay.
to hook you up with my dad, and
Okay.
you can have that conversation with him, because probably a good thing to kind of get figured out, because even aspirin, right, is has some medicinal properties to it that you
Mhm.
may or may not want. So
Yeah.
yeah, great. Hey, so your attitude, what obviously you've got the killer attitude, but what do you think is it about your attitude that has made you successful? What was it that allowed that WTF moment for you to then kind of transfer this into action that is actually allowing you to stay the course?
Um,
Why do you want it so bad?
well, I just felt horrible. I was sluggish. And I just didn't feel didn't feel good. Didn't feel like I was living. Something was missing. And I know I'm getting older. I'm 61. I'll be 62 coming in April. But I know that the mortality rate in this conversation between you and I is 100%. And I know that none of us are getting out of here alive, but I want to get as far as I can, feeling as good as I can. And that is what is
Yeah.
motivating me, because I'm around other people that are my age or younger. And I'm thinking, whoa, I used to do that. I used to look like that. I used to walk like that. And I'm, and I think you might have a picture. I haven't been surfing, my God, in, forever. And here at 61, we went on a cruise, and with the weight loss, I hopped on this
Yeah.
little surfboard, and of course, I busted my rump, but I had a blast, Rip. It was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I enjoyed
Yeah.
the heck out of it.
Yeah. So I mean, instead of sitting in a chair, you're actually getting out there and you're living large.
I am, and I've I've taken it to, I don't know if I want to call it the extreme, where, like I said, we can drive a truck for 11 hours a day. You have to stop for 30 minutes within 8 hours because you have to take a mandatory break. And then if you're not, if you're not driving, you're not making money. But I still want to live. And so I ended up, how can I exercise? Because if I put on 700 miles a day, Rip,
Yeah.
I can end up in a city or in a state that the weather is inclement, or it's 110, and I've been in my air conditioning all day, and I don't want to get out in 110 and go for a walk. I go through Austin all the time in the summer. And so I ended up getting a walking pad and putting it in my semi. It's a little, yeah, it's a little bit smaller than a treadmill, but
Wow. Wow.
it works, and it'll hit 7.5 mile an hour. So
Oh.
um
And then
and you know it,
how often are you trying to get on that during the day when you're driving the truck?
well, like I say, I have to take a 30-minute break. So, but now I try to incorporate that into when I pull in to my fuel stop.
Right.
So usually it will be in the morning before I roll out, or it'll be in the evening when I'm done.
Mm,
Um,
mm.
it's now, if I pull into to a customer and I'm getting unloaded or I'm getting loaded and I know I'm going to be setting for an hour, I'll hop on it and walk or
Yeah.
jog. Um, it's
Yeah.
awesome.
Well,
It was another game changer for me.
yeah, no, it is. And Ruthie here, she's commenting on the photo of you on the back of that cruise surfing, says that's a picture of freedom, right? Freedom. How wonderful. And
Yeah.
then more beautiful comments from, Fun with Fun Guy. Blown away. Awesome idea, Monte, to have a walking pad with you. Who
Yeah.
gave you that idea to have a walking pad?
Okay. I'm just cruising through Facebook, and I see the walking pads, and people are having them under their desk, right? So
Oh,
they have a stand-up desk and they're on their treadmill. And I've watched some of
Dr.
Michael Greger,
Greger.
Dr.
Yeah,
Greger's, and he's on
yeah,
a treadmill. And
yeah.
so now I'm just thinking to myself, okay, so I'm measuring my truck. I have 59 inches, I think, from the dash to the bed. I think the treadmill's 55. I'm thinking, okay, and I got enough width. This will work. And the truck it has a power inverter. It'll convert
Yeah.
the DC to AC. I plug it in, and it'll handle the wattage. I'm rolling, man. So
Hey, have you noticed since you've been eating this way and obviously losing the weight and moving, actually here, um, let me put the comment up here. Where is it? Here it is. Um, can you confirm, is your mood better since you've been eating this way? You feeling like more positive, happy, or?
100%.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's
No, yeah. It. You drop that weight, you start feeling better physically. It just translate. You start feeling better mentally.
mhm. Mhm.
Or it
Let me
does with me.
Let me ask you this, Monty. And I know that right now it's all about you. I'm wondering, how have your 6 children responded to this lifestyle change that you're undergoing?
Um, well, my daughter came over today just to make sure that I was able to navigate through this process that you and I are currently doing.
Good.
Um, but so here I made that tortilla pie, and she walked in. Walked in. She said, "Damn, that smells good. What's going on in here?" And so I dished up a bowl, and she just sucked it right down. And she's dabbled a little bit, okay. And then I have another son. I haven't pushed it on anybody because
Mm.
I don't want to push anybody away.
No. Yep.
I
Yep.
mean, I ate that way for 60 years. So,
Yep.
but I did have one of the boys contacted me, and he's probably a little more like me, maybe a little on the heavy side. Cholesterol's 254.
Hmm.
I said, yeah, but he was pushing me for kind of a Q&A. And so we talked for a little bit, and we'll see.
Yeah.
I think the seed's been planted. They're seeing what can happen, and I'm not ramming it down their throat. But when they look at me or when I'm around them, they're like, "My God, this works,"
Yeah. Yeah.
and I'm not starving. I feel great.
That is so wonderful to hear. Now, when you go on the road, typically on the with your trucking, how long are you gone for a period of time? Like, is it 5 days? Is it 2 weeks? I have no idea.
I'm pretty lucky with the company that I'm with. It's based out of Wichita. Um, I haul chemicals. Um, excuse me. So it's a tanker, but yeah, I am usually 5 to 6 days out, and then when I'm home, it'll either be what they call a reset, which means I'm home for 34 hours, or sometimes I'll get lucky and I'll get 48 hours off. Um, and it's eh, I'm lucky to be off tomorrow, but when you're trucking, kind of like in the medical field, the weekend is just another day. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
um, with Mary Ann being a nurse, that's just the way it's always been. It's we have Christmas not on Christmas Day, so
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. Now, so if you're gone for 5, 6 days on the road, does that include like round trip, like going and then coming home?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the run that's coming up, Rip. Um, I will be loading here in Wichita at Occidental Chemical. I'll be getting a load of sodium chlorite, and I am hauling that out to New Jersey. So I'll leave Sunday morning. Um, it's 1,400 miles, so maybe 2 days, probably two and a quarter. So it'll be a 5 day turnaround.
Hmm.
Um, so
And okay. And so you mentioned like you really try and do 4 to 5 baggies of these green leafy vegetables every day as snacks.
mhm.
And so do you prep that the day before, or do you do like 30 bags so that you've got those? And do you have a fridge in your truck as well? How does that work?
Yes, I do have a small fridge, and it has a freezer area that's not very large. So I have to, yeah, usually the day before. So yeah, tomorrow's Saturday. So tomorrow, I will go through and steam all my veggies. I will anoint everything with my balsamic vinaigrette. Um,
Good for you.
right, and put it in a bag and throw it in the refrigerator. And I'll have a couple bags that I can squeeze into the freezer, along with a bag or two of frozen fruit,
Yep.
and then I will take probably 4 meals that I've prepped here at home, and then I always have um, no salt added. I always carry a couple cans of black beans.
Mm.
I always carry a couple cans of Rotel, no salt added. Um, And then there's always Plant Strong chili and stew. And I left out my granola. I usually have a small snack baggie of granola, whether it's the apple or the berry. Love
Yep.
that stuff. I
Yep.
do.
Yep. Yep.
You're and the peanut curry. You need to come out with another sauce. That one is awesome, but we need
Another
one more.
flavor. Another
We
flavor.
do, yeah, cayenne or something. But I love that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Have you tried our pizza crust kits yet?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. So for people, a lot of people were wondering, we just got a new shipment back in. We were out of stock for about 2 weeks. So we got another shipment in. And so those are back in stock and ready to be shipped out.
And you can
Yeah.
you can load that up with whatever you want. Oh,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. It's good. It's clean. And then it comes with a sauce pack that's, Plant Strong and even Essie approved. So that's really good.
Yeah, they're fabulous.
Hey, here's Ken wants you to know, Monte, you look and sound great, and I respect truck drivers. Hard profession.
Well,
yeah.
It's
Wow.
it's chosen, but yeah, it's takes you away from the house.
Yeah. Tell me this, Monte. If you're driving, did you say how many miles will you get in a day? 1,200, 1,400?
No.
No.
700.
Oh, no, that's right. 700.
700.
I'm saying, so if you can get 700, that's right. 700 in a day. What are you doing to pass the time? Are you listening to podcasts? Are you listening to books on tape? Are you meditating in silence? What are you doing?
I'm bald. I'm pulling my hair out. No, I'm kidding. A lot of podcasts. I've probably watched and listened to most of yours, and all the other, people that are doing this. I just Chef AJ, my boy, I tell you what, I listened to, and I just watched her and your podcast just a little bit ago. Boy, she gets me amped up. She's a ball of fire.
She is, isn't she? Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, a lot of podcasts. The radio, and I do have. Let's see, Dr. Michael Greger. I did. Is it Audible? I did purchase a couple of his books on Audible.
Yeah.
So I can listen to those while I'm sailing down the road.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hey, so when you're in that truck driving down the road, do you like to have the AC on, or would you prefer to have the windows down?
Oh, 90% of the time I'm climate controlled.
Yeah.
But if it, because when you're running 70, 75 and you roll it down and it's noisy but if I get into a city and the weather's nice and you're like, yeah, I do. I will kick one of them down and get some fresh air in there and just smell what's outside.
Yeah. Well, how do you handle like really bad traffic? Because it seems to me that a lot of places I go in the United States, it seems like the traffic's getting worse and worse. I mean, is that a mentality, or are you just patient with it?
Boy, let's see. How do I want to address this? You open up a can of worms here, Rip. Yeah, I have to be patient because the interstate system was developed, 60s, 70s?
Yeah.
And, here we are 50 years past that, and the population's done nothing but grown. Traffic's done nothing but grown. And, and I get close to a major city and it's what I'm calling rush hour. And, I understand all of these people that are in there, we call them four-wheelers. I understand that you're just getting off work and you're in a hurry to get home. And I'd love to be at home too, but I'm still at work. If you see me on the road, I'm at work. I'm driving.
Yeah.
And I'm driving the speed limit. I'm hauling chemicals, bad chemicals, like I haul acid sometimes. And so I'm going to run the speed limit. And I'm sorry if I'm slowing you down because you want to run 90 in a 70, and I'm going to go 70.
Yeah.
So you just got to chill.
Yeah.
And just get in the center lane and let the crazies go around you. So
Well, listen, Monty, you are absolutely, you're fascinating. Your journey's fascinating. I so appreciate you kind of giving us the full Monte, so to speak, and kind of, bearing all for us, because I think there's so many great lessons here and takeaways for everybody that's been listening. I know this has been a fantastic hour for me, and I've really enjoyed listening to you and all your stories. And
Oh,
yeah,
it's yeah,
yeah,
yeah. As for me, it's been great. Yeah, yeah. We'll have to. We've been, and we can save it for another time. But we've been on several cruises, four
yeah,
or five of them when I was doing the standard American diet, and we just went on one here a couple months ago, and I'm doing I'm doing the whole food plant based. So that was a
yeah,
challenge. Yeah.
yeah. Well, our family, we just did an Alaskan cruise, and we found that it was really, for the most part, very easy to eat whole food plant based, because they had so many different offerings. And then we could go up, and they were very accommodating with when we asked them, could you cook, these pancakes without any oil? Could you, give everybody's got oatmeal, right? Oatmeal and fruit. So
Yeah.
that was easy enough. And
Yeah.
then they had a pizza buffet, and we did, obviously it was white. It was the white bread. It wasn't a whole wheat crust, but it was a clean sauce loaded with veggies. So you do your best to make it work.
Right.
Yeah.
I try to be a little more stringent, knowing that I've been
Yeah.
diagnosed with coronary artery disease.
Yeah.
I did, for anybody out there that's listening, if you want to go on a cruise, I took your products. I took the chili, the stew, the
Yeah.
granola, and everything went through
That's right.
customs or the TSA. None of that was a problem. So I had that for backup. I prepared for the worst, and hoping for the best. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, good for you and Marianne for getting out on a cruise. How long were you on the cruise for?
See, the last one we did was a 7-day cruise. It was
Uh-huh.
we left out of Galveston. So
Good.
and
Good,
yeah,
good,
we're going again in July. So
good. Well, I'm glad to hear you're not working yourselves to the bone too much between
no,
the trucking and the nursing. Wow.
yeah, but we
Yeah.
try to do 2 cruises a year. So
Good. Good,
yeah,
good, good.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. You got to get out and unwind, man.
Yeah,
Hey,
absolutely. Hey,
look at that.
hey, well, Monty, stay on, because I want to talk to you a little bit about some other things. But everybody, thanks so much for joining us today, for hearing all the great things that Monty has done with the lifestyle. And man, make it a great, wonderful Plant Strong weekend. Monty and I are cheering you on.
Yes, we are.
All right, hey Monty, give me a fist bump. Plant Strong fist bump. Boom.
Right there.